Mr. Manoj Mishra, CMD at National Fertilizers, is now joining us from Delhi. Sir, thank you very much for joining us here today. Good to have you on the show. Can you talk to us about the fourth quarter and the turnaround, of course, if we may call it, that you have seen in Q4 as far as your bottom line is concerned, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon. Actually, instead of last quarter, let me talk about the year as a whole, 2015-16. The turnover story is really there, because from 2014-15 we had hardly 26 crore profit, and before that 2 years we were having losses. So the turnover story is really complete. But let me tell you, this has come about by sheer hard work, because now the production is, for the last year, the production was 118% of the reassessed capacity at 38 lakh tons. And this production is almost 15% of India's total urea production. And the energy level also, the energy consumption, which is the main cost of production, it is the lowest ever we have achieved in the history of NFL. In fact, this level of profit also is highest in the more than a decade.
And what led to this? If you could talk to us about the key factors, and do you think going forward it will sustain, and what's the outlook?
Yes, the first thing I said, the higher level of production. For this, credit has to go to the gas pooling policy of the government of India. Now, as you recall, before this gas pooling policy, all individual units were getting gas prices at different levels, spot gas, RLNG, different, whoever was getting domestic gas, they were at an advantageous position because they were able to produce more than 100% capacity. With this gas pooling policy, now there is a level playing field. All my 5 units have produced more than 100% of capacity. Even at the lowest low level of international price of urea, it was viable. We were getting additional margin. So that's why we produce at all that is single most factor, that production at all the units was more than 100%. And second thing is, of course, because higher level of production and sustained maintenance, the energy consumption is also the lowest level ever. So these are the two things. And thirdly, I will say the neem coating urea, which was made compulsory, which was during the year 2015-16. Earlier, it was not that compulsory. So in neem coating also, it is not only good for the farmers, I will say it's also good for the companies, because the cost which we incur for neem coating and the additional revenue we will get, that also contributed. So I think a couple of these things.
Right. When you're saying that 100%...
And you mentioned about what...
Right. I was asking about the future now. For FY17, what do you expect?
Yeah, for FY17, because now that we have reached 38 lakh ton production during 15-16, definitely we'll going to cross this. So we're going to sustain this, and the maintenance also, plant energy level also, we are going to maintain this. So I'm sure with this production level, the next year will be better, because we are also now going into mainly into urea production. Now we are also going to leverage our marketing network by importing and trading DAP, MOP, bentonite sulfur, and even NPK. So in a large way, we are coming up with import. So that with the same marketing channel, we are able to leverage it and use it for sale of other commodities. So that will also give to a push to my bottom line as well as top line.
Right. So 38 lakh ton was the production, sir, in full year FY16?
Yes, yes.
How much was the growth in Q4 on a quarter-on-quarter basis?
This amounted to 50, yes. Quarter production-wise, actually, there are a lot of other factors. So if for a urea plant, if you compare quarter to quarter, that may not be a correct way to see. But from year to year, if you see, is almost 1.5 lakh ton extra we have produced.
Okay. What's the outlook, the target ahead as far as production is concerned? Could you give us some sense for FY17? Any number, percentage-wise, how much of a growth are you likely to see?
Now that we have already achieved 38 lakh ton, we're definitely going to increase it. But in urea, increasing capacity, see, 38 lakh ton we could achieve on the strength of 340 days on-stream days. out of 365 days, 340 days on-stream days. So to maintain 340 days is a challenge, but we'll definitely try to improve it. If we are able to increase the on-stream days beyond 340 days in the 17, definitely our production will be higher and accordingly profitability also.
So a 30% gain, what you saw in FY16, can we see that replicating in FY17?
I will not hazard guess on the percent, but definitely whatever level we have achieved in 2015-16 will be above that, will definitely be above that. I'll say that.
Right. So what kind of EBITDA margins did you see last year, and what's the outlook ahead on that front?
See, EBITDA margin on urea production probably may not alter much, because last year there was some pressure on sale due to low, or rather delayed rains in the winter months. So, but this time with the good monsoon predicted, so EBITDA margin will not be under pressure. We will be able to maintain that. But my extra profit should come from the trading activities, which I am saying, which a year back we are not doing anything. With trading activities, we almost 4 to 5 lakh ton MOP, DAP and other fertilizer we are going to import. So that is going to increase my EBITDA, absolute EBITDA, not in margin terms.
Right. So we also believe that your profitability has got some support from the fall in interest cost that you have seen in this quarter. Can you tell us how much has it gone down by, and what's the outlook ahead on that front?
Yes, yes. The interest cost has gone down by almost from 300 to I think it's 225. Interest cost has come down. There are two factors actually. The first factor is that now there is some relief in the subsidy front in a relative term, because the same budget level of 60,000 for fertilizer subsidy has been kept by government, but due to reduction in gas prices, now the same level of budget is able to cater to the larger number of subsidy bills. So there has been some improvement in the outstanding subsidy bill, because in March 2015, outstanding bills were to the tune of 5,000 crore for NFL, which has come down to 4,300 crore in March 16. So that is one reason. Secondly, we are also extensively using our corporate paper, which gives our interest costs lowers by 150 to 200 basis point. And this year we have started also intercorporate deposit. That may be giving us additional 50 basis point saving in interest costs. So I see interest costs coming down further.
So the government is also, going to start very soon a pilot project as far as direct benefit transfer of fertilizer subsidy is concerned. How do you stand to, benefit once that comes in, and what's the update on that?
First thing, I think government has decided, 12 to 16 districts to be identified. That has to be communicated. I think each of the fertilizer company will be given responsibility of one district to run the pilot project, and we are keen to take up that project as when it is given to the companies. And I think that will be advantageous because now instead of subsidy outstanding with the Government of India, once the DBT comes, instead of subsidy outstanding with Government of India, now the challenge will be to take it from the market. And as we have seen, if the subsidy average time for subsidy realization is 3 to 4 months, average I am saying, from the market it is not even 1 month. So we are quite bullish. If the DBT comes, my interest cost should come down. And why for NFL? I think it will come down for the entire industry. And this will be actually a step towards maybe ultimate decontrol in future years.
And, how soon are we likely to see that pilot project starting, since you mentioned that every company will be given some districts to handle?
Yeah, I think maybe this month itself that the government is working on it. Maybe 16 districts they have already identified, I am told. So each company will be given one district. So maybe once it is given in this month, we'll start work on that.
All right, Mr. Mishra, we'll of course be speaking to you again once that rollout starts. But it was a pleasure to chat with you today on how the quarter was for the company and the turnaround that you have scripted in Q4 and the outlook going forward.